Welcome to part 5 of Ricardos' tour of New Jersey and New England. At the end of part 4 we were in the Plymouth Patuxet Museums, which brings to life the history of the Plymouth colony. We had just left the indigenous homeland and were heading for the visitor centre to see an exhibition of local crafts. Then it was on to the replica 17th century village. Here actors played the part of early settlers. They explained in Old English to visitors what their life was like then and how they came to be establishing a new colony in the Americas. The colony was to grow to become what is now Plymouth, Massachusetts, which was to be the next step on the tour.
So you were married here?
I met my husband. He came later.
Oh, okay.
Later ship.
What ship did he come on?
I was James.
Right now, we're living on company property. Company houses are looking at going to putting some centre back going straight to and below, 4 more posts, platform lined with slate.
The museum entrance fee included a tour of the Mayflower II, which is anchored down in Plymouth Harbour. That was the next destination after a lunch. Of the hundreds of ships that made the transatlantic crossing in the 1600s, she is the ship everyone remembers. In June 1957, Mayflower II, a full-scale reproduction, arrived in Plymouth. It became the centrepiece of the harbour. Millions of people have stepped aboard her decks to imagine the perils and contemplate the modern impacts of the historic Atlantic crossing. It is a floating classroom and working vessel. Following her restoration in 2020, she was added to the National Register of Historic Places as an historic ship in her own right. Underneath a colonnaded structure is the Plymouth Rock. Legend has it that it was where the first of the Pilgrim Fathers landed during their coastline explorations and selected this location for their new venture. The success of the venture was largely due to an alliance with Massasoit, the leader of the indigenous tribe that occupied this part of the coast. There is a statue of him on the hill above the Plymouth Rock. Then it was Uptown Brook from Brewster Gardens to the Plymouth Grist Mill. It was the clear, fresh water that was one of the reasons for selecting this location by the Pilgrim Fathers. Then it was on back to Wakefield in Boston to have a Mexican meal in a restaurant called Tabasco. The next day it was onward north up to Portland. We had arranged to meet up with Adam for a brunch. Afterwards he gave us a tour of the city. It was in the car so that we could see the highlights before heading north towards Maine. Stopped off at an LL Bean superstore where I bought some trousers. The destination for the day was Bar Harbor in Maine. Just for the town we checked into the Bar Harbor Motel. Then it was into town for a meal at Galen's. As we left, the sun was setting over the sea. Keep an eye out for the next video on the adventures in Maine.